Usually Friday news dumps are for bad news, but somehow the Knicks slid this into the Friday news dump last week that Jalen Brunson is taking $113-ish million less by signing an extension this year than waiting for the full max next year. And then it came out, Steve, if you want to take this tag board full, that in order to help save the Knicks even more money, Mikal Bridges is also reportedly willing to take a little bit of a team-friendly deal. That's according to Mark Stein, as teams continue to figure out how to keep quote-unquote super teams together under the second apron of the luxury tax. And I'm curious for your guys' standpoint. Is this setting a bad precedent for players down the road that owners should put the onus on them to take less money to be able to field the championship contender? We saw Donovan take the full max. We've seen Brunson now take a little less. Not saying one's right or one's wrong, but is it setting a bad precedent by Brunson and Bridges for other players down the road who won't be able to, or will be looked at in a different light for taking as much money as they've actually earned?
No.
Tyvis, you were in a players union. Go ahead.
No, I mean, it just literally tells you where guys are in their careers. That's pretty much where they're at. When you're young, it's all about the almighty dollar. When you get older and you've established your first contract and now you're on your second contract and you've already signed for $200 million, okay, yeah, I could take a friendly deal because I already got 200 sitting in the bank. At this point, I just want to win a championship. So when I look at these young guys sign these contracts, it makes me see, okay, they want to get paid. They want some security in their lives. And when it gets older and it's time to sign another contract, maybe they'll be more inclined to taking a friendly deal because they know at that point in their lives that they want to win a championship. That's the way I see it when I look at Jalen Brunson doing this. It's the same way I see it when I see Mikal Bridges do it.
I disagree. I think this is a really bad deal for the Players Association. I think they made a really bad deal. And I'm surprised that they agreed to this because this is putting their players now in a really bad position. And I hear what you're saying on once you make your money in your second contract, but what about the guys that are trying to get that first big contract coming off their rookie deal, and now they're going to be pressured to take less to make it? And
they're not going to be pressured at all.
Well,
they're going to look
even
at
if they're not.
They're going to look at them.
Let's say they do sign the max. They're going to be looked at as selfish. Well, you can't Player Association is supposed to be for the players, and it's curious to me that the executive director of the Player Association who negotiated this deal resigned right after the deal was done. Right. Like, this was a bad deal. And it's not so much that you're giving the owners a break and trying to save them money. It's that once teams cross into the threshold, into the second apron, it's literally restricting what you can do in terms of building your roster. It's not about spending at that point. It's about they take the levers away. You can't make certain trades. There's certain things that you cannot do to improve your team anymore. So now owners can look at the player and say, are you a team player or not? You know, if you take all this money, then we're not going to be able to make any trades. And it puts the players in a really bad position. So I'm surprised that they made this deal. We've been talking about this on this show and everywhere else for months, that this is a new world in the NBA and everything has changed in terms of how teams can be constructed, how they can be built. We've talked about parity. It's never been like this before. We just talked about it in the last segment about how the fifth team can beat the second team now. All of that is good. All of that is healthy. From the player's perspective, it's not a very good deal when it's forcing you to leave that much money on the table. And also, it's not, I'm curious to see what the ratings look like, because parity is great right up until you get to a finals that nobody wants to watch.
That's true.
Because the stars are not involved. And for all the money that these networks are shelling out in these deals, I wonder what the ratings are going to look like on the back end when you don't have super teams. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying there's a trade-off and there's a cost to doing business this way, and the cost is going to show up in NBA Finals ratings.
So I agree with you that the Players Union's got to be annoyed at Brunson.
They have to be, I'm sure. And I'm sure the Players Union's looking around going, what did we just do?
Yeah, right.
What have we done?
They screwed up with this deal,
Big
clearly.
Time.
So
I just spent 2 days in Vegas talking about this.
Yeah.
And what a talking point this is going to be moving forward.
And what were the players saying? Or did you not?
No, it wasn't necessarily me talking to the players about it.
I got it.
I know what they saying. They ain't got nothing to do with me. They ain't got nothing to do.
Well,
who you asking? What player you asking? Because I tell you what they gonna say. Give me a player, and I tell you what
I
they.
can't tell you who I'm talking to.
No. I'm saying like, give me an
random
example.
Oh.
If I was such and such, what would I?
Jared
say?
Allen.
Oh, he's a team guy. He's a team guy.
Donovan Mitchell.
No. Donovan has
but
not. Did
here's
Donovan sign a big deal in Utah?
Here's the thing.
Yes.
You know what's funny?
He
This was
signed
his
2
second-
maxes now.
Yes.
You know what's funny, guys, is
Donovan, you're selfish.
But he's not. You're not.
And yeah, and that's the issue because he's not selfish, and you should get every dollar you deserve.
Absolutely.
And it
And-
puts him in a bad position now because people could look at Jalen
But
Brunson
you know
and say,
what?
well, why didn't Donovan? It shouldn't be on Donovan to
But-
take a pay cut
but
to
Mike,
be able to keep a team together.
That's exactly right.
I come from a
Thank you, Jason.
I come from a union family. I always support unions. What's being done to unions in this country is disgusting. And so it pains me to say this, but as a fan, I want players to do this.
Take the
You guys are all talking from a player's perspective. Yeah, if I'm Evan Mobley, I don't want Brunson taking less because then it makes me look selfish if I take the most. Maybe I don't care, but the players that are taking the max now are going to look to the fans as selfish. Fair or not, doesn't matter.
That's exactly right.
If you're a New York Knicks fan, you love even in a sport with no salary cap, baseball,
Jose.
we love Jose even more because he took less money because it feels like it helped the team. Whether it actually did or not, who knows? But we love Jose. Everybody loves Jose, but you love him even more because he took less money.
Yep.
A bull. I'm gonna tell you right
Yeah.
now. This is an experiment. The Knicks don't win. Ain't nobody doing that.
Right, but don't if you're a Knicks
Nobody
fan,
doing that.
if you're a Knicks fan, you already love Jalen Brunson.
That's fine.
Now you love him more.
Whoop-de-doo. If they don't win a championship,
That's
he's gonna be
fine.
mad at himself
That's fine. I'm just
for
saying
leaving
from
that
a-
money on the table. I
from
did
a
it for
fan's
nothing. What did I do it
perspective-
for? To play with my friends?
From a fan's perspective, when a player takes less money, fans love it.
Yep.
That's fine. Woohoo. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
he did it to win a championship. They
Right.
don't win a championship, what was the point?
He did it. I mean, and by saying that,
Get your
you're calling
money.
Donovan Mitchell selfish.
No, I'm not.
You are indirectly.
No, I'm not. Donovan's protected himself. If I don't win a championship, I'm paid.
Tyvus,
You can't miss out on both, boy.
Well,
You
wait a
got to
second.
have one. I'm either going to
Jalen
get paid
Brunson, you're saying that Jalen Brunson cares more about winning a championship than Donovan Mitchell,
Yes,
right?
yep.
Okay.
Fine.
See, that's not fair. Like I don't.
But
think,
isn't it true?
Fine. If you want to say that, if
How
that
can you prove it's true or not?
that's
true?
what you want to say,
One guy
fine.
took less money to help the team, the other guy did.
Well, right now,
But would
Right.
you take less money with UCSS so we can pay Jason or Tyvus
That's a
more?
ridiculous comparison. By the way, it's a ridiculous comparison.
Why is it ridiculous?
First of all, if Steve Becker said, "Would you take a little less money? Otherwise, Tyvus has got to leave," I would. I swear to you,
I
I would.
appreciate
I do
that,
believe
boo.
that, by the- I do
I would
believe
do.
that.
I would literally
But
do the same for you.
But it's not a fair comparison, and here's why. Because what did Jalen Brunson sign for?
113
It was
million,
it was $156.5 million.
And how much could he have gotten if he
He could have
waited?
got 113 more million than that.
113 more. Jalen Brunson, whether he gets paid 156 million or 260 million, he and his family are set for life, no matter what.
That's what Jose
Obviously, another 113 million. There's no difference in his life. Okay, the money I make good money.
Didn't he say
I'm not gonna lie. I make good money between all my gigs.
Mm-hmm.
I live a perfectly nice life, but I don't live a millionaire's life. I'm not rich.
It's true.
I'm comfortable. I'm very happy for I'm not complaining.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't make life-changing
Well,
money.
it wouldn't be like he told. It wouldn't be like Steve
that's
said.
why Mike is
it's-
not a fair
It wouldn't be
comparison.
like Steve say, "We need you to take a $300 pay cut." You'd be like, "No." Whether if it was like $50 or something like that, you'd be like, "Yeah."
I'm not gonna get into the specifics.
I'm just
of how
saying
much less I would
I'm
take.
comparing the millions to us, like
Right.
that-
It's
we
just-
talking millions of dollars here.
Once
We
you
ain't talking
make millions
here.
of dollars, the money's kind of irrelevant. It's really, what's the difference if you're making 100?
You're right. It's more the principle of it. But
Yes.
It's just I don't think someone should look at Donovan Mitchell or any guy who's. I'm just using Donovan because he's the most recent one to sign the
Right.
max. And Evan Mobley's going to be the same situation because if Evan Mobley signs the rookie max,
I
he's
ain't
going to go
never
from making
said
about
that.
$12 million this year to about $38 million next year. He should be able to make as much money as he possibly
agree,
can.
And he
Mike.
better.
Without the criticism of, well, you're kind of effing your team over by
but-
doing this.
but you are.
If Evan Mobley
But you
don't
are.
sign that max,
No.
he's mistaken himself.
but here's the difference.
I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah.
Here's the difference in the Knicks and the Cavs. The Knicks are a lot closer to the threshold than the Cavs are right now. Cavs haven't even been a tax-paying team
Yeah.
to this point. So
Right.
that matters in this as well.
Right.
If Jalen Brunson was on the Cavs, who have not been a tax-paying team, who have been below all these thresholds all this time, he probably doesn't take the haircut. But because the Knicks are farther along on the salary scale than where the now eventually this is going to catch up to them.
Yeah.
Like when you're paying Darius and Max, when you're paying Donovan, when you're paying Evan.
Right.
Eventually they're going to have those contracts. But right now, today, when Donovan is signing that contract, they're not in the same position the Knicks are. Does that make sense? I don't know if I explained that right.
But let me ask you this, Jason. And listen, I'm not blaming Darius Garland for taking every dollar he got. I'm not blaming him. I'm not saying he's a bad guy or anything like that.
You can't.
But if Darius, let's say Darius had taken $50 million less.
Well, Darius signed it on an old
I'm sorry,
team.
Donovan.
Okay.
Let's say Donovan had taken $50 million less.
So 3 for 100.
Right.
Instead of 3 for 150.
Couldn't the Cavs have now been involved in free agency this year, which they weren't able to?
They would have a lot of money to use in free agency.
Okay.
Or not a lot, but they'd have about 13, 14-ish more million.
I understand it's tricky because I don't want to criticize Donovan Mitchell for making as much money as he can because we'd all like to do that in theory. But it is fair to say that Jalen Brunson helped his team and Donovan Mitchell did not.
But
whether that's right or wrong, that's true,
but again,
isn't it?
It's an apples and oranges conversation because of where the Knicks are in payroll. And I don't know their numbers off the top of my head. But where the Knicks are in terms of the second threshold and where the Cavs are, it's not an apples-to-apples conversation.
That's fair. But in the end, if Donovan had taken less, the Cavs could have gone after a free agent and they would be better right now. I mean, isn't that fair? Am I being unfair?
Well, yes. Because
now it's probably wrong that that's on Donovan.
Hold on now, because you putting it all on Donovan. So why can't said player that they go after say, hey, listen, we giving you a chance to come in here now. You got to take a little bit less to come play for the Cleveland Cavaliers, but you know it's a team friendly deal.
Well, then, okay.
This is a franchise that
I'm
is
just
struggling to attract free agents for generations.
I understand all that, but I'm saying, why can't the free agent say that? Why Donovan got to look bad?
The free agent could say that too.
All right, that's what I'm saying.
But
everybody is about the dollar. So we need to cut this out. Like, you know what? Jalen Brunson is different, and if he don't win a championship, he gonna ultimately be mad at himself. I don't care what nobody say.
I wonder if they gave his dad, who's an assistant coach with the Knicks, $113 million raise.
Couldn't they be paid under the table? Don't guys get paid under the table? I mean, is that happening?
No, not